Tasha was ready. Tasha's like, Lawrence, you a good man. And even Tasha tried it. And Lawrence was like, Tasha, I have a girlfriend. And I was like, and Issa's out there finna get in them streets. But, baby.
Can't win for losing.
When I tell you, when Lawrence, so how the whole thing unfolded with Daniel coming to like the benefit or whatever, and at the end when Lawrence sees Daniel and he's like, "What's your association with We Got Y'all?" And he was like, "I don't have one anymore." And then when they went home and Lawrence sitting on the couch and he was like, "Who is Daniel?" I was like, "Oh." She got that like,
Ain't nothing like when a motherfucker find out some shit and you be like, what?
Listen.
Your ass don't be knowing what the fuck to say.
At all.
You be confused. Who said that?
Girl. When you like, and Lawrence was like, did you sleep with him? And he was like, answer the question.
And why the fuck did she say yeah?
Like, why lie about it?
I just would just have to feel guilty at night because I would not have said yeah. Ain't no fucking way.
You wouldn't have said yes.
I don't give a damn. Fuck no.
You ain't said. He got to catch you there.
No.
Face down. Would have had to catch you.
I ain't going to jail if you don't prove I'm fucking guilty.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Straight Chaos No Chaser podcast. Of course, I'm Adrian, your host, and this is no stranger to this podcast. This is BFF Shonte. Hi, best friend.
Hey, girl. What's up?
Girl, nothing. Before we get into things, let's go ahead and make our toast. Today, we are toasting to, my favorite thing to drink. Oh, girl. Today, we're toasting to what we always toast to when we have these conversations. Making it plain, being open, transparency all the way. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. So, you know how this go. You tell me what's good, what's bad, and what's ugly with my best friend.
What's good? What's good? For me, the weather is good. I really like when the weather is good because it makes me want to go ahead and get up and get my day going. When the weather is bad, I'm just like I feel like when it rains, the day should be canceled. Like no school, no work, no nothing. But that helps me to like be in a better mood. What's bad? Honestly, I'm gonna be real. The internet got me feeling like today. Like, and I usually don't feel no way about like celebrity beef, but just today I'm just like, I'm not with it. I'm not with it at all. And which brings me to the ugly. Relationships could be real motherfucking ugly. Like, them things can start off motherfucking good, then get bad, then get motherfucking ugly. Like, dead ass.
This is true.
Yeah, for sure.
This is true. I concur. I concur.
So, what is your good, bad, and ugly today, BFF?
What's good? What's good is life. You know what? Like, what's good is I don't really have any real complaints. I don't. I mean, there are things that I can complain about, but it could be a whole lot worse. And so I'm just thankful that I don't have any real serious issues, you know, because I know what that feels like, and it can be debilitating. So I ain't got none of that going on. What's bad? What's bad is it get dark at 4:45 p.m. and I be looking at the clock at 6 o'clock, ready to go to bed. I was like, dang, is it time for me to go sleep yet? And it's only 6 p.m. And it's like I got to find something to do for a few more hours. That's bad. Like, I mean, man, it's like the day is done. It is done.
Over.
It's over. And like, you can't tell me just like 2 weeks ago, it was getting dark at 7:45. Now it's at 4:45. Like, something's not adding up. You guys skipped a bunch of hours. Like, you accelerated this darkness.
Get some of them things back.
Like, please. Please.
You took too many. You done gypped us.
Please. Please. What's ugly is, honestly, you know what? I didn't feel well the other day, and I went to the ER, and I was really in some pain, and I feel like it wasn't taken seriously. And for a moment, I felt how Black women feel when they go to the doctor or the ER, pregnant women, and they are expressing that they're in pain, and we're just like dismissed with medication. You know, that was really ugly. Like, you know, this lady's like, on a scale from 1 to 10, what's your pain? I'm like, 10. Like, it hurts. Mm-hmm. I'm very painful.
Or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, like, and I would not, you know, and, you know, for them to just be like, oh, here's some medication, follow up with your regular, you know, doctor. And I just, because I know ER is for stabilization. Like, that's what emergency does. They're supposed to stabilize a problem. But if there is like a problem and a person says that they are in pain, it can be addressed. Like, yeah, you can take care of it. And I feel like it should have been taken care of. So, but anyway,
I agree.
But anyway, so today we are talking about the TV show Insecure. And in our conversation, we are actually going to, you know, talk about some instances where we have insecurities in our friendships, our relationships, in our families. And so I love the show Insecure. I mean, I want to say who doesn't, but I'm pretty sure there's somebody who doesn't watch it or who doesn't, and shame on you. But I love the show, and it really, really just kind of like speaks to so many situations that we go through in our everyday lives, and it's very relatable. And so I'm caught up. Are you caught up?
I'm caught up.
Okay.
Wait. Today is Monday.
Yep.
I'm not caught up because it came on
last night. Yeah. Girl, I was like, I was sleeping. Well, I was really sleeping. I was like, what time is it? I was like, oh, it's 10:30. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this because I be waiting all week for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this. So I did watch it. So, it's fine that you're not caught up on that episode. We'll talk about that later. But I actually want to start by going through all the seasons and not making it super long. But what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna take out, one or two instances in the season that I want to talk about, you know, as far as insecurities go. And it may be something that I can tie back to an experience that I've had or not. So I'm starting at season 1 of course, season 1 is where Issa, she cheats on Lawrence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, now, usually men cheat. A lot of times men are the ones who are the ones who step out of line, but it was Issa this time. And so Lawrence did not work. And, he had this idea, but he wasn't doing what he needed to do to allow that to flourish, allow that to grow. Issa was working and pretty much, funding their relationship. And then she, I can't remember how she met Daniel, how she saw Daniel again.
I think she saw him in the club.
Oh, yeah, because with Molly. Because she was rapping. So, saw Daniel. Daniel is a producer. He has these things going on. That energy is back. And it's like, man, this is something new and exciting, right? Versus what I have at home. Like, he ain't really doing nothing. I'm doing everything. So, as much as I did not want Issa to cheat, she did it. And, the thing is, of course, I don't know if her and Lawrence had a fight or something like that, but she went over and she kicked it with Daniel, and they ended up sleeping together. And it's like, as soon as they finished, she went in the bathroom and she saw, I think, like a soap dispenser. And it reminded her of something that her and Lawrence had talked about, and she immediately felt bad. She felt horrible. And then that was the time that she had that video that was surfacing of her rapping in a nightclub. And Lawrence, he got it removed from the internet, like it was gone. And it's like, I feel like when you cheat, like if a person in your life is not doing the things you want them to do, and then you cheat, it seems like the light flip switches and they start doing those things that you've been asking them to do. They start trying to do better. Shoot, you come home, they're like, guess what, baby? I applied for 3 jobs today. You're like, really, God, And so, honestly, in that situation, it's kind of like, I hate to say that I understand her cheating, or I can see why she cheated. Like, I can see why. Sometimes it's that drive that somebody else has, and then like, but I love you, you know what I'm saying? Because she didn't love Daniel. Of course she loved Lawrence, but it's just kind of like, this person right here is doing something and he's exciting me, and me and you, we just been going through the motions. So she cheated. And was Lawrence wrong for not taking her back?
I feel like the thing is, I think that's that what you call it, the double
standard.
Because definitely I feel like he feels like you're my girl, like you cheated. Because I feel like if he would have cheated on her, I don't feel like she would have easily just left like that.
Right.
But when men get cheated on, I feel like it's all about them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really care. They don't give a fuck why you did it.
It's just the fact that you did it.
You did the shit to me, and I feel away.
Mm-hmm.
And you let another nigga put his dick in you, and I'm mad.
And that's something I can take.
They could have cheated on you 1,000,000 times. And you do it that motherfucking one, oh, bitch, you got to go. They just had...
You are for the streets.
You for the streets. You a hoe. You a bitch. You sneaky. You ain't who I thought you were. All type of shit. Them niggas can't take that shit.
And it's such a double standard. Like, it really, really is. And it's just, it's hard for me to subscribe to that. It's hard for me. It's hard for any woman to be like, you know what, baby? Or to listen to their friends say that. Because I just had a conversation not too long ago with a friend on my previous podcast. He was saying the same thing. He was like, if you cheat on me, like, you for the streets. Like, I don't want you. I'm like, and you can cheat 50 11 times. He's like, we ain't talking about me. We talking about you. You are on this pedestal, and we are trying to reach this pedestal that we have put you on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I just don't want to hear that. Like, I respect the man more when you're like, yo, I did this, I've done so many things, and she did that. Like, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we need to be better. Right. We need to be better. Like, it just blows my mind how men feel like they can just do the dirt and give me this whole story to my, well, you know, you are the picturesque person that we are striving to. Man, get out my face with that.
Mm-hmm. And then not to, like you say, you understand why. But also, I feel like with anybody, when you're in relationships and you done been with somebody for a while, I don't care if, because I feel like she could have ended up talking to somebody else who was jobless just like him. But because it's a new person, y'all got new stuff to talk about. Y'all can ask shit about each other. Y'all can, like, oh, what you like to do, this and this and this. What did you do in your life? How was it growing up? Da, 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 is new. But with your person that you've been with, y'all can't talk about that stuff. Y'all already know that shit about each other. Like, it's easy to get piqued by something new that you usually don't have. Mm-hmm. But when you have to, being a human being is having that restraint. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why, but in both, it's just like, why do something to somebody you know your ass don't want them to do to you?
Yeah, true. Very much, like, very true.
If you slap me in my face, you best believe I'm finna slap your ass the fuck back. Like, that ain't how that shit go.
No, yeah.
At all.
Like, true. So, her cheating. So again, I can see that situation because sometimes that is how that happens. You know, you get something new and exciting, like you said, and somebody they stuck in their rut, and I'm not saying it was right, because it was not right. It was not right at all, but I can see how she allowed herself to go there, and as soon as it happened, you know, she regretted it. And a lot of times when it is those instances that you do cheat, is very very shortly after you regret having done that. And it's just so crazy how things, because that is how life works, how things like started falling into place for Lawrence. And because he was working at Best Buy, he was working at Best Buy. Tasha was ready. Tasha's like, Lawrence, you a good man. And even Tasha tried it, and Lawrence was like, Tasha, I have a girlfriend. And I was like, and Issa's out there finna get in them streets. But baby,
can't win for losing.
When I tell you, when Lawrence, so how the whole thing unfolded with Daniel coming to like the benefit or whatever, and at the end when Lawrence sees Daniel and he's like, what's your association with We Got Y'all? And he was like, I don't have one anymore. And then when they went home and Lawrence sitting on the couch and he was like, who is Daniel? I was like, oh. She got that like,
Ain't nothing like when a motherfucker find out some shit and you be like, what?
Listen.
Your ass don't be knowing what the fuck to say.
At all.
You be confused. Who said that?
Girl. When you like, and Lawrence ain't, Lawrence was like, did you sleep with him? And he was like, answer the question.
And why the fuck did she say yeah?
Like, why lie about it?
I just would just have to feel guilty at night because I would not have said yeah. Ain't no fucking way.
You wouldn't have said yes.
I don't give a damn. Fuck no.
You ain't said. He got to catch you there.
No.
Face down. Would have had to catch you.
I ain't going to jail if you don't prove I'm fucking guilty. Okay?
I hear that.
Free in these streets. You ain't even gotta put me on no t-shirt talking about free me. I'm out here. I wouldn't have said shit.
I get
no
with you.
Way.
No way. No way. Yeah, nah.
It ain't worth it because you still now you feel like shit twice. You felt like shit when you did it. Now you feel like shit because you done told this your significant other, and now you done hurt their fucking feelings. Now you feel even worse.
So it's okay for you to. So it's okay for you to do the same thing. You asking for them to lie?
No. It just really gotta be in all the fucking person you are and what you gonna let out and what you not. But I wouldn't have said shit.
Yeah, no. See, it would have eaten me up. It would have eaten me up.
I would have just had to get ate up. I wouldn't have. No, like what I probably would have said like, nah, we kicked it. But when he would have said it, I would be like,
It's so funny because I can see you doing that. Like what? No, never.
No. Especially if I did this shit that one time and I really felt like I ain't doing that shit no more. Like, but see what she fucked up, she kept talking to her. She was just supposed to just cut the nigga off and don't fucking.
Did she keep talking to him? Yeah, because he came and did like the little
Yeah, they tried to be cool like after that, and that's kind of part of like I think some of the shit men be talking about because I mean women we are more emotional, and he probably just felt like, oh, we fucked, that one shit, whatever, we can move on. And she probably like feeling something every time he come around, like, oh shit, like
no, but Daniel wanted more with her. No, he wanted more.
He did, but I don't think it was because of the sex.
Yeah, no. Like he's always liked her.
Yeah,
he's always liked her. So, but when they broke up or whatever, and when Lawrence was like, she texted him or she called him, and he was like, "I miss you," and she was like, "Y'all, I'm out. I'm going to get my man." That man left that Best Buy shirt in that closet. And he's like, baby, I am not here. I am going to Tasha's house, and I am digging her out.
He was over there blowing that bitch back out. Got to be more careful.
Got to be more careful. There's always somebody waiting to take your place. And Tasha was waiting. So now you got Molly and her being the only black woman in her white law firm. And then she figures out that she makes less than one of her white counterparts. And so, you know, she does the whole thing where she tries to get in good with the partners and just pretty much, I guess, I don't know what she was trying to do. Get a step up the ladder in her pay. Because one thing I've learned, you can laugh and hee and all in these people's faces, and they'll do the same thing with you, but you will remain exactly where you are unless you open your mouth and say something, because closed mouths don't get fed. So I don't care how good you try to get in with them. They don't care. You're gonna be right in the same place. So, you know, there comes a time where we're in our jobs and we are, you know, insecure about, or not necessarily insecure, but we wonder, you know, are our counterparts making more money than we're making? Especially when you have a salary job. I wondered that once before, and I actually saw one of my counterparts' checks, and I was like, why are you making a little more money than me? But there were other circumstances. He was filling in at the place that I was, so I'm pretty sure that they have to incentivize them more, which was okay. But yeah, so, we do want to make sure that we're making, that we are being compensated the way that we should be compensated. You have to get what you feel like you are worth, not actually what you feel like you're worth, but what you're worth. In my profession, like, I can charge you this amount of money because I have mastered a certain skill to be able to perform in a certain amount of time. And so you pay me for that. But that's how that works.
Yeah, I feel like in the workplace, especially as a Black woman, it's hard because we're labeled to have an attitude. Mm-hmm. So like when you're saying, you gotta speak up, but you also gotta watch how you speak up. Because a man can say exactly what you're saying in the same tone and it's taken seriously. Mm-hmm. But you, as a Black woman, you say that same thing, you got an attitude. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, I'm just serious and I'm stern in what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And why? Because I look like this, I got to have an attitude when I'm being serious about what I'm saying and when I'm being paid to work a job, and it takes sternness, but when I'm stern, I got an attitude.
Right, exactly. Yes, for sure.
So it's just like you end up in a position because you're good and because you do this and because you do that, but they try to keep you. They don't want you to go too far.
Keep me on a short leash.
Now they try to scale you back, like, oh, you got an attitude, and I'm like, all right, you got it.
We're gonna give you that. So season 2 starts off where like Issa, she tries to get Lawrence back or whatever the case may be, but Lawrence is pretty much moving on. And Lawrence starts dating Tasha, and something that I really like was when they're kicking it or whatever, and Tasha asks, or even Lawrence, he tells Tasha that, he messed around with Issa because, they always double back one time, that always happened. But she was, she was cool with it or whatever. And Tasha, she was ready for a commitment. She was. But of course, you have to always realize like where a person is at and where they just came from. And so Lawrence had just been in a relationship with Issa for like 5 years. And so, of course, he still loves her, regardless of what he's saying. And he's not ready to be in a relationship or commit to anybody else at this time. So when Tasha is like inviting him to family reunions and all this kind of stuff, I can already see where this is going, right? Mm-hmm. But I was happy when Lawrence did not make, he went to the family reunion, but he left. Remember, he left and he was doing other stuff. And Tasha was like, yo, where did you go? And he was like, and she was like, I already knew what this was. Like, don't try to come at me on some, you feeding me some BS. And she was like, Lawrence, what did she say? He gave good dudes a bad name or something like that. And I was happy that she said that, because a lot of times we don't speak up when we know somebody is playing us. We'll continue to let them drag us along. But as a woman, and as a woman who knows what she wants and she knows what something is, she was like, yo, don't try to act like this was something other than what it was. I wasn't trying to make you this, that, and the other. However, let's keep it real. Let's keep it funky. And again, Tasha, she did want a little more, she did. But at the same time, when he tried to just feed her some BS, she's like, nah, let's not do that. I know what this was. And I know that hurt his pride a little bit because, he's been a good dude for so long, and he was on some, starting to get on his slimy, and she called him out about it. So, that's something that we have to do, men and women. If you see somebody starting to move slimy, call them out. And you have the right to separate yourself from that. Like, I don't need this.
Yeah, and then too, like you said, when you start to talk to somebody, like you say, like when people are single, it's easy. Like if she been single for 5 years, but he been in a relationship for 5 years, y'all are not gonna want the same thing
at all.
And so it seems cool at first, but if he's gonna jump right back into a committed relationship, he might as well have stayed and worked on what he was in.
True.
So it's just like that goes to show, like that temporary funness. A lot of times don't go nowhere.
True. Very true.
Like
your vacation.
His girl done fucked up. But guess what? He probably still want to be with her. Like he like
real life.
And you gotta that rebound shit is real.
Real.
That rebound shit is real, and the person may not be intentionally making you a rebound person, but you are.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that, because I honestly in college, like that was the first time that I really can say like I had a rebound boyfriend after a relationship, because it was 2 months after being in a relationship with somebody for like a year. And at that time, in college, like that was big, but now it's like, you're like 19. And so I started dating somebody like 2 months after, and I liked him, but I still thought about my ex. Like I still cringed when I saw him. I still, whatever. And so it was a rebound, because if it wasn't, then I wouldn't feel no type of way. I would have no reservation about moving on. I would be good. Like, I can see this person and like, I'm good. But if you still like really, really thinking about somebody, but you got somebody else laying next to you, like you probably should like save both of you guys the trouble and just, go your separate ways. But it's hard for people to do that. It's hard for people to be alone. And it's hard for people to just communicate how they're feeling for the sake of not hurting somebody else's feelings. But we need to normalize that, to be honest. You need to normalize saying how you feel and getting your happiness, irregardless if it, may make somebody else feel a way. Because at the end of the day, it's you and it's your life and it's your mental that you have to deal with and live with every day. So I definitely think that is something that everybody should work on. So, now, Dro and Molly. So Molly finds out that her dad cheated on her mom way long ago, and she is like livid. And I understand, because you look at people when you feel like people are squeaky clean, and then when you find out that they're not, like it's like a bullet to the chest. And she was like super mad, and when her brother was like, Mom forgave him, like why are you so mad? And she just mad because she had this like image in her head of not only her father but her parents' marriage, and that's something that she strived for. And so when people have the conversation of, all men cheat and da-da-da-da-da, I'm sure Molly will be the first one to say, my dad ain't never cheated on my mama. And so then when that happened, like all that is shattered. Like all of it, it's gone, and it makes you lose hope, and it makes you feel like, damn, like everybody cheat, and like, cause I remember one time thinking like, so this is something that I just need to accept. I remember thinking this like my junior year in college. I was like, everybody cheats, so it's just like men, like, so it just is what it is. And I remember thinking about like, people from my hometown who, you know, they would have like kids together, but then their husband had kids by somebody else, but they were still together and they still made it work. And I was like, well, this seems like something that just happens and it just is what it is. And I learned to be okay with it, but it's not okay. And honestly, in retrospect, those people now, they are divorced. They are, even in their old age, they are divorced, you know? And to be honest, I have never said, like, my dad ain't never cheated on my mama. Because guess what? I don't know, and I don't care to know.
Right.
To be honest. You know, I've never asked my daddy, like, none of that. Now, we have been on the phone or something like that, or somebody called, and I'm like, who is that? And he started laughing. He be like, boy, this girl right here, she gonna beat everybody up. I was like, but Molly, you know, there's an insecurity now, whereas it's like, damn, like this whole cheating thing, like my whole like fairy tale or what I thought something was has just been shattered. And so that draws insecurities for the future with people that you date. And then you have Dro and Molly, they begin this relationship, and Dro and his wife Candace have a great relationship apparently, but they have an open relationship. And, you know, they have partners. And so Dro explains this to Molly, and at first she's like, what? But then, you know, she walk on over there, and stuff like that is good until it ain't. It's good until it ain't, because there's gonna be an ain't. And
I feel like when you do that, you gotta, when you doing shit like that, you gotta put some boundaries on that shit, and not even, I don't even say that for the other person, for yourself, because if you messing with the guy and you know he got a girl, but you ain't messing with nobody else, bitch, what you think gonna happen?
True.
You gonna start to catch them things, them feelings. You gonna catch feelings, and now
That's
you
true.
catching feelings for somebody you know you're not about to be with.
Mm-hmm.
So you really setting yourself up for a heartbreak you know gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like you're gonna have fun. Like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. And it was when, for her, it was when I think it was like a bubble bath. And Kenneth called and he was like, she locked herself out of the house. I gotta go. And she's like, and see, it'd be like little stuff like that. You'd be like,
And it's crazy. Like, I be trying to think, like, did I ever just talk to anybody and I just knew they had a girlfriend? I was like, yeah, but I kind of had a boyfriend. So like, what the fuck was that?
yeah.
But it was already the understanding. Like, you got your person over here, I got my person over here, but we gon', you know.
Yeah, I was sneaky links before sneaky links was a thing.
Yeah, and then back then it was easier to be sneaky links because motherfucking social media is a hell of a goddamn thing. And even the phones now too, like our phones wasn't that good back then. Like, you take a picture, the shit be blurry. You gotta
I don't even remember phones on those Nokia. I mean, cameras on those Nokias. I don't think they had cameras.
You had to text letter by motherfucking letter and shit. Like, it maybe you had to press the button a couple of times to get to the letter.
Oh yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So it's just like it took. You really, the communication was like, oh, you here, I'm here, let's go here, and then boom, bam, bam. Like, the lines of communication are so instant now. Like, back when we was in college, some people had cell phones, some people did, and then eventually everybody got one. But it was times like if a motherfucker went at home or in their room, you ain't talking to them
at all. Don't worry about it.
You better leave a message.
Message.
So,
oh
you
boy.
Just have to, it's and with women, we just, especially if you have this single, it's easy to want that companionship when you haven't had it.
Very much so. Very much so.
So it's easy to like. It's easy to get in that sticky situation, even if you know it's not gonna go to where you want it to go. For sure.
Yeah, because you are exactly right. It's hard to be alone. You have to learn how to be alone. And that's actually where I am right now. Like I used to just kind of be like, but I think that I am, or I don't think, but I'm ready to be in a relationship. I'm ready for companionship. I'm ready. I'm ready for that. And in the last year, I just been kind of like, as cliche as it may sound, just working on me and, you know, improving in areas that I feel like I need to improve in and just growing as a person, which is really important. Before getting into a relationship, that's really important. So I'm just at a point now where I'm open. I used to be like, no, I'm still in my healing phase, but a bitch is healed. I'm good. I'm ready. Put me in the streets. No, I don't want to be in the streets, but I'm ready. I'm ready for a companionship.
Adrian, the streets calling you, girl.
I'm ready for the streets. This winter, I'm going to the streets.
With you. Let's go together.
Girl, let's go holding hands in these streets. No, but you know, it's really important now to be, to find your person, you know, like you just gotta, it's really important to know who you are and what you need and seeing if a person can be that for you. You know, in certain aspects, they may not can give you everything you need because some things come from the Lord and it's your own issue, but you have to have somebody who compliments you. And so that's definitely, like find somebody that you are compatible with. Like people, I saw a post one time that said, you loved her, so why didn't it work? And it was like, because we're not compatible. And that's big. Like you need to be compatible with people. And stop trying to fit squares into circles. Anyway, also in this season, we had Lawrence at his, you know, he got that job. It was like a tech job or something like that, I believe. And he believes so much in his project, but he was not being heard the way he wanted to at that job. And so, you know, he had to really figure out what he was going to do. And so a lot of times in our own personal lives or in our careers, we may be more than what somebody is allowing us at our jobs and at our careers. And it's hard. It's hard to just be like, you know what? I quit. Because you don't know where you're going a lot of the times. You don't know what you're going to do. But you just know that where you are is not a fit for you. And so you have to step out on faith and you have to go where you feel like you can thrive. Because in certain situations, people will let you remain stagnant, like they will. And honestly, you know, it's not their job to make you want to be better. It's your job.
Right.
So
definitely.
So yeah, with that. Moving on to season 3 now. You know, Issa, I forgot to mention this, but Issa, she struggles because, you know, they have the program We Got Y'all. And remember, they go do the tutoring at a particular school. And most of the students that are being tutored are Hispanic students. And she wants it to be inclusive of all students. And the principal, he's black, and he's like, well, you got students, don't you? And, you know, the things that he says, they're racist when he talks about the Hispanic students. And Issa, you know, she's just like trying to get a job done. But at the same time, her counterpart, I forget her name, but the white girl, she's like, that's wrong. Like, we need to speak up about this. And Issa's like, you know, she's kind of like straddling the fence, because it's like, I know he's wrong, but at the same time, like, look how many students we do have in here. And so, that's something that when you do things like that, when there's kind of like a fine line and you could potentially get in trouble behind this or be reprimanded behind your actions, you know, that's something that you have to be cognizant of and be reminded, like, yo, maybe I need to make this right. Issa never did. And then it came to light to her supervisor or whatever, and she was basically demoted. Frida, that was her name, Frida. Basically, Issa was demoted and Frida was, what's the word? She got a promotion. And so it just sucked, because sometimes you are in between a rock and a hard place. But at the end of the day, you always just got to do like the right thing, like morally. That's just the best thing, you know, just do the right thing morally. So, yeah.
Then too, when you do stuff morally, like just even now in today's time, like with the Black Lives Matter, like it's probably more people that want to speak up, but I think too, I do understand sometimes when the NFL players are not doing it, because they still have to feed.
That's
their
the way
families.
they eat.
And it's like, I love my black, but my kids got to be hungry because I love my black. And you just never know a person's situation. Like, if they got somebody else working, okay, but a lot of them are taking care of their
whole family. Yeah.
So it's like you're really sometimes stuck between that rock and that hard place, because it's like, if I do this is coming with some consequences. So you gotta sit down and see if you're gonna be able to handle those consequences. And if you can't right then, you can't make that big jump.
Yeah.
So it's such a double-edged sword when it comes to stuff like that, because it's just like, damn, I want to say this, but I need.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that, but what I do believe is, even if you can't say something, you know, because a lot of companies' jobs, they prohibit their employees to make statements on social media and things like that. And I understand that. Again, that's how you eat. But I think what's most important is, if somebody started talking crazy in the office, I'm going to stand up. You know, I'm going to stand up for my people. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. You know, I'm not going to cower and just, you know, mind my business and type. Like, if you around here like saying, you know, Black Lives Matter, well, white lives matter too, I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn around and we're going to have a talk. You know, so just because people aren't, you know, posting stuff on social media or, doing other things to show their solidarity, it doesn't mean that they're not standing up. And so I agree with you on that. Something else that happened in season 3. So Issa, she went back to Daniel, not for a relationship, but to sleep on his couch and to hear him bang someone else. I'm like, girl, you always get me in these episodes, girl. I said, oh, Daniel is not playing.
Rough right there.
And then you know what he doing. Then you know what he doing. And men are so like, when you hurt men, I just have to roll my eyes. Because I understand that men can be hurt, but when you hurt men, they just, oh my God,
crumble,
girl. He's like, oh, okay, I ain't know. Yes, you did.
Like, it's for them to dish out so much shit, they so weak for real. Like, the fuck? You sad about that?
Right.
The shit you be doing and you sad? Nigga, what?
Make it make sense.
Ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no
Make
way.
it make sense.
Yeah,
make it make sense.
It's a hard no for me.
Yeah, he felt the way, and so Issa, she's trying to get herself together because she's just kind of like, she quit. We got y'all. She's out here Ubering and all this kind of stuff, and just trying to get her life together. While Molly moves to a new firm, and Molly is around her kind of people, and she feels like she fits in, but then she sees how she can stick out. And so she then becomes, it's kind of like, yes, I'm with the people that I should be with, or the people who make me feel comfortable and make me feel appreciated. But then it's like, okay, I don't want to step on any toes, or apparently I'm going about something the wrong way, and I need somebody to let me know what's up. And so how many times in our careers or our jobs, or, even in certain spaces, it's kind of like you need to know how to interact with certain people so that you don't offend them and so that they don't offend you. So just like with Dorian on Insecure with Molly, the black guy at the firm, and
at the firm,
yeah, she just felt like she couldn't win with him. And he kind of felt like she was an overachiever, but we usually have to be twice as better, twice as faster, as smarter, than our white counterparts to be considered equal. And so that's just what she has known for the time that she's been working in. That's just her drive. So that's something that Molly dealt with when it comes down to being at her new firm. And then Molly being in therapy. Therapy is something that's really good, because a lot of times we are not going to make ourselves the bad guy when we're talking to ourselves. And so
I said, I need me some. I said, I need to be on somebody's couch. I just know it.
We all do. Like, going to therapy is not a bad thing at all. And I think that more people are starting to step away from the stigma of it being something bad and thinking that you're crazy, because you're not. Like, we all need therapy individually, couples, so to be able to be in therapy, and I think it's something that, did Issa suggest therapy to her? I think she did at some point, or I remember Molly saying that. I remember Molly meeting a girl that she'd known from way back when, and the girl told her that she was in therapy. And so it's not a bad thing at all. At all. Now, one with friendships is Tiffany and Kelly, the baby shower. So in certain situations, you can have two groups of friends, like me. I'm in a sorority, so I have my friends, and then I have my sorority sisters, and for some people it can just kind of be blurry. But for me, it's never been blurry, because I've had my friends, and they always be my friends, and they're going to be my friends. And I got my sorority sisters, my LSs, and we have something different, and the two, they're not compared. I've never compared the two. And so, with Kelly and Tiffany, Kelly gets upset about, Tiffany not asking her to plan the baby shower and, all these things. And Kelly feels like her and Tiffany are best friends. And Kelly is normally like the jokester. She always has something sly and funny to say. But in that moment, that's the first time that we really saw Kelly like be emotional and be hurt by something. And, Tiffany's just like, oh, they just decided that they would do it, or whatever the case may be. But that happens in friendships sometimes, where you feel like you are more to a person. Or I won't say that you're more to a person, but you just expect a person to want you to do certain things. And then when they don't, like, you're really, really hurt. And it kind of like makes you think like, what is our relationship? Like, where is our friendship? You know?
Mm-hmm. I think it is it's kind of like you said though, like just when you go through life, you and your friends, y'all are not like growing up. You're not gonna do everything together, and a lot of times you have your friends because y'all have similarities or y'all have common interests or whatever. But sometimes you're like complete opposites. Like, for instance, I feel like I have my college friends and my club friends that I met when I moved to Atlanta, and just the industry people that I know now. People just know you at different sections of your life. You're around people different. Like when we in college, all us together all the time. Now we hardly ever see each other, but we're still friends. So it's like if I was to have something now, or you was to have something, the people that are around you every day may do more than me, but I'll be like, that's my best friend. Like, what are you doing?
And she does.
But I think just when it comes to like your bestie, you feel like a sense of ownership, kind of like having a boyfriend. Like, bitch, what? Like, it's just you like, look, you can have other friends, but you let that friendship stay right here. Don't let it cross over. Don't let it cross over. So I think you always want your people to have other friends, but it's just like, I don't want you putting nobody above me. But it's just so, you make it so personal when it shouldn't be. When it shouldn't be. Because really in that moment, she should have been thinking about, oh, was she happy in this whole baby shower?
But that's hard though. That's hard when you feel like you're so close to a person and they don't ask you to do anything. Like we're together like all the time, and like, why when you ask me to do this, you could have, and see, you have to know your people. You have to know your people, and like Tiffany knew that Kelly wanted to have some hand. Kelly is the godmother of their child, so you knew she probably wanted some hand in it. Now the thing is, Tiffany just wanted it to be like glamorous and outlandish, and she knew who would get the job done. And she probably felt like Issa, Molly, and Kelly weren't going to do that. So she, delegated somebody else to do it. But however, you still have to allow somebody else to. But I think that Kelly brought a like diaper towel or something like that. Or maybe Molly, I don't know, but somebody brought it. But you just have to like know your people, because even in wanting to have possession over your friends, you still have to have an understanding of like not being jealous. Because I've come across that. You know what I'm saying? Where like one friend is jealous of me interacting with other friends. Now that right there is just, sometimes I may joke with you. Like when you've been at Lemon having a good time, I'll be like, oh, so you having fun without me? Really? But like it's there and it's gone. Like I don't for real feel away. But I've been in situations where a friend has really felt the way because I did something with somebody else, and we're not 12. Like we're not 12. So. Are you 12? Acting like a child. Go sit down, girl.
That was a big one too.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it didn't scare me, because normally I jerk. I'm like, I know. Thank you for your protection. You guys know that the dogs are also a part of the podcast each and every time. But it's like, we're not 12. Like, we don't have to do everything together. You don't have to be included. Sometimes I may hang out with Tasha. Sometimes I may hang out with you. Sometimes I may hang out with Danielle. We all have different relationships within our group of friends. And, you know, people have to understand that that's just like with Issa, Molly, Kelly, and Tiffany. Like, the 2 and 2 are best friends, but they still all have their own personal relationships within that, their clique of friends. So, but the thing is, you know, they moved on from it. I'm sure they had a conversation, and it's just about getting back to where you need to be. So, you know, something else that happened in season 3 when Daniel goes to the club and he's trying to get his beat. He's trying to like get put on by a certain like entertainer or whatever, and the dude is like, "Nah, you should do this." And he kind of like bypasses the guy's recommendation. And in doing that, the dude feels away and he's like, you know what? I got something else for you anyway. And it's one of those things where sometimes you have to stay the course just for a little bit just to get to where you want to be. You know, because and I get it, you know, sometimes it's like, no, like, this is mine. I'm here, and this is worth listening to. However, if you down here and this dude is up here, like, sometimes you just gotta play the game. And it's like, yeah, because now this person has you in mind. You build a rapport with this person, and then give it a couple months, maybe a year, you're alone with this person, and then you can introduce them to what else you may have for them. And so, and Daniel being like, nah, like, this is what I got for you. Like, bruh, like, your name is not even concrete with this guy that you've been trying to get on to. And it's gone just like that. And, you know, it'd be pride and ego. More so ego. It'd be ego. And a lot of times we have to put our egos aside when we are trying to get to the next level. Like, get to the next level, you know? And
it's very dangerous because you know how you feel it in the inside, but then too you thinking about how people are gonna look at you. But it's like you gotta look at the bigger picture. Like, am I gonna be worried about this for this little second, or I'm gonna do this so that I get the outcome that I want in the end?
Exactly.
Because that ego is dangerous.
Yeah, very, very, very dangerous. It keeps us from a lot of things. And I cannot fail to mention Lawrence's friends letting him know that all this ain't Issa's fault. So when Lawrence tried to be like, she cheated, not Chad, but Derek.
I know who you're talking about.
Derek.
I can't think of his name.
It's Derek. It's Tiffany's husband. Tiffany's husband is Derek, and then the other one is Chad. Chad is like the old cheat.
He's funny.
Chad is so funny, but when, you know, Lawrence was like, she cheated, you know, and Derek was like, like, this ain't all on Issa. And yo, it's important for people to be held accountable for their part in something that occurs, because a lot of times we feel like, oh, you cheated, so you the bad person. But you have to be like, was there anything that I did? Like, how did I contribute to this? And like Derek said, like, you sat on a couch for like a year and a half or however long and did nothing. And so I was really, really happy that, you know, that was brought up in that episode by his homeboys, because she could have said that and it would not have hit the same way as his homeboy saying it.
Right.
At all.
And then, too, most of the time when a relationship ends, like, 9 times out of 10, both parties play some part.
Some role.
In what happened.
Not all the time, but a lot of times.
I don't know if that only ever one person, because nobody is perfect. So it's just, you never know what's triggering that other person. Like, even if y'all don't have the same issues with each other, I might have an issue with something that you feel like ain't that serious, and it might be serious to me. You might be like, oh, that wasn't nothing, but it might be something to me. Like, little stuff can add up. even like little stuff like spending time together. Like when you in a relationship, some people require more time with their significant others than others.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are like, I don't want to be up under you all the time.
Isn't the Knicks somebody playing? What?
Yes. So, because I have said that before. I was just like, I could, I never see myself in a, which I guess I can't never say never, but I don't know if I could ever be in a relationship to where it's like a kind of very cookie cutter. Like we probably both work, we home by this time, we probably sitting at the table together, and we usually always at home with each other. That shit would drive me in fucking insane. It would drive me insane, but that's a lot of people's life,
Mm-hmm.
and it is normal. But for me, like I would just be like, oh, we gotta be together again tonight. God damn. Like your friends don't wanna do nothing. Man.
You so funny.
No.
I mean, I definitely think that you need space
But
from one another.
That is me. And some people strive for just that consistency. Like, but I'm just like, no. I talked to this guy at a bar the other day. He was just saying like, you know, I plan on being a provider, and I just want my woman to, you know, always have my house in order or whatever. So I was like, so can she go out and stuff? He was like, yeah, if she's done everything she has to do for the day. I said, oh. Then of course he proceeds, talking about, can he take me out? No, because nigga, I will beat you the fuck up. No, no.
Oh, that would be funny. That would be hilarious.
Can you imagine somebody saying to me,
not at all,
oh, you still got a basket of clothes in there? Well, bitch, you better get the motherfucking folded. And you and that basket of clothes can see me when I get the fuck back. What? No. But that same attitude might have me motherfucking dying alone. You never fucking know.
Hey, it may be, and as long as you're okay with it. But listen, there is somebody who compliments that. Trust me. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. No, that's a no. Make sure all your duties are done at home before you can leave. Oh, okay. Grabs keys and walks out the door. That happened in college.
Girl, I'm walking outside. This nigga done lock him motherfucker.
That happened in college that time with my rebound guy. He was like, "You're not going to the club?" I was like, "Watch me." Girl, I went and took a shower. Y'all was already there.
Amen.
Y'all was already there. I was like, oh, I said, I did not rush home from work so that I could be home. I timed it. You know how you have to time everything out. Okay, I get off at 11, get to the house by 11:30. I can be back in the car by 12 o'clock. I'll be to the club by 12:30. Cool. I was like, watch me, girl. Fighting about some keys. I'm like, because my thing is like, at that time, it's like my parents were overprotective enough and didn't let me go nowhere. You think I'm finna get to college and you finna tell me I can't go nowhere? No. Especially if I'm not doing anything. No. No, not gonna happen. Sorry.
And then too, where I tell a lot of people where we're from, like, it wasn't much to do.
At all.
So now that I'm a fucking adult, yeah, no, don't,
You almost made me black out. Ooh.
Yeah, it's like, and even we hung out in college, but I was just telling somebody the other day, I was like, yeah, I live by myself. I would get off work and go home. I wasn't going to no bars.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't hanging with them folks. I took my ass home.
Yeah.
But now it's places I could go somewhere and just sit and motherfucking make a motherfucking friend right beside me
Oh yeah. I don't
and
know a
just
stranger.
right and just go on about my day. Be like, I met this white guy named Joe the other day. That's my friend. I got his number and everything. I said, Joe, I'ma see you. Like, but just depending on like a lot of people are not with that. Some men are like, you ain't finna be at no motherfucking bar.
No.
Oh. Hmm.
As long as I'm not being disrespectful, and my thing is always whatever you want to do, I gotta be able to do it too. And I'm serious about that. I'm so serious. If you want to be able to do it, I gotta be able to do it too. So I always, when somebody asks me something, I be like, "Can I do it? Can I go have drinks with Tisha, or can I go have drinks with Jerome with the gray sweatpants?" See why you playing, but I'm not. So also season 3, we had Nathan. Nathan, blows into Issa's life, and they share some time together, but then he ghosts her. And Molly, who is you and who you are, Molly is getting ready to take Issa out for her birthday, and Nathan just rolls up, and she's like, "Oh no, you can be gone. We're not doing this."
Mm-hmm.
And Issa, she has a really good birthday. At this time, her and Lawrence, they have made amends. They cool. And then later on, Molly tells Issa that she curved Nathan, and Issa is upset. So why would Issa be upset?
I feel like I could see why, because she probably felt like it should have been her decision to curve or not curve him. But like you said, I probably would have been Molly and been like,
"Oh, you would have.
Don't come around with that bullshit." Because when you kind of like somebody, it's easy to take their bullshit.
Yes.
And so Molly, being her friend, is like, I'm not gonna let my friend go through that. So you can take your ass on. So I feel like Issa could have like felt a little way, like, oh well, I wish you would have let me decide, blah blah blah. But like, oh, I'm glad you have my back in that way, that you wouldn't let somebody come to me with the fuck shit. For sure. Like, yeah, because I would want somebody in turn to do that for me. I would want somebody to be like, nah, nigga, get your ass on.
Facts. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye. No. And really, if he wanted to communicate with her so bad, he could have. But he took whatever Molly said and he just got the hell on. So he probably was coming with more bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, deuces, brother.
I agree. She just, she had been waiting for Nathan's call for so long. And then when he finally did come around, it's like, why you did that? Like, but Molly was just trying to protect her, and she wanted her to have the good day that she had planned for her, because it was going to be a trigger. Whether she was going to be thinking about him all the time, wondering, because you know how it is when you first see somebody for the first time again, and it's like you're thinking about when you're going to talk to them, you think about when you can't focus on what's at hand. And so,
and then men love to feel like they can always go back,
come and go as they please,
which is crazy, because really more women could do that if they wanted to. Like, the majority of the exes that I do have that I know of their whereabouts, if I wanted to get with their ass right now, they gonna be like, yep, where you want to meet at? But like, we don't fucking do that shit.
Right.
Like, but niggas, they just always want to keep their little hand in a pot, and motherfucker, it ain't no once you been here, you could always come. No, no. Because if you wanted me around, you would have did what you were supposed to do when we were together.
Hello. Right. You shouldn't have left any room for error. So that's on you. So it's kind of like, who are you upset with? Are you upset with me or with you? Yeah. Anyway. So now season 4. Girl, season 4 got real and real fast. So season 4 is where the block party is, is in the making, and you have the first episode where Issa has like a little an event where she's asking people for sponsorship, for her block party. And at the end of that, she's working with Condola, who she previously finds out is dating Lawrence, which is awkward. And so Tiffany, she's like, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. Would you have been mad at your friend if she knew?
I would have said, bitch, you could have said something.
Yeah. But then Tiffany was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, but even if you knew that they even went out on a date or something like that, like I give a forewarning, like, hey, let you know, such and such and went out with such and such, and I don't know what it is, That's just a common decency as a friend, a close friend, you know what I'm saying? Especially with your ex that you dated for quite some time. So that's just a common decency. But so, they're working together, and Issa's like, she sees the bigger picture. Like, she may feel away, but she understands, like, she needs Condola's guidance to get where she needs to be. So she'll swallow this pill. And that's what you have to do sometimes. And, Molly finds out, and Molly's like, what? So, like, why are you trying to act like you ain't got no problem with this? And Molly and Issa, and again, Shonte is my Molly, because she's one of those people that I have to be very selective with what I tell her, because she see red real fast. And so, Issa didn't even tell Molly. Molly knew because of at the event. I think Tiffany told her or whatever. And Molly was just like, what? But Issa knew. Like, Issa already knew what it was. And so at the end of the event, Molly and Issa kind of get into it a little bit. And Molly tells Issa, like, your life don't always have to be this messy. And it's kind of like, for real though, And so that's like the start of like a little explosion that is about to happen. And they kind of comfort each other a little bit. And so Molly has issues because she's dating Andrew, and Molly has some insecurities there because it seems that she's never dated outside of her race. And that can be hard for Black women, especially when we want to be with Black men. And so she's trying to become comfortable with that and just take in the fact that he's a good man and he's a good person, and she enjoys being with him. She even doesn't invite him over for Thanksgiving, and that's an insecurity, because it's like, I don't know what my family gonna say, right? I don't know what people gonna say. And it's like, far too many times we think about what other people are gonna think or what they're gonna say versus how we feel, how a person makes us feel, and then Molly also, like, she pushes the issue because she feels like so Molly also, she pushes the issue because she feels like Andrew doesn't open up to her. But we have to get to a point where we allow people to be ready to open up to us. If it's been a couple of weeks, if it's been 2 months, like, you have to give people time. If it's like 6 months to a year and you're kind of like, why don't I still know you? I can see some concern then. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And then it depends on. I think it depends on. It depends on y'all relationship. Like it depends on. Like if you date for 2 months, but you see each other like every day,
Mm-hmm.
that's different than dating for 2 months and we see each other maybe once a week, twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. I think it depends on how close you are in those moments.
Yeah. And so, and then, you have to respect people's boundaries when they're like, I don't want to talk about this, especially when it comes down to family stuff, and because you never know what people are dealing with when it comes to their families. That's something that I've started to, be more conscientious of, more conscious of. And then also the other issue was, Andrew want to do certain things and Molly didn't want to do them. And that's something that I believe is really important in relationships. Like, you can't always want somebody to do what you want them to do, but then when they want to do stuff, you don't want to do what they want to do. Like, that is a recipe for failure. Like, you have to, even if you don't like doing it. If your boyfriend love to go fishing and he keep asking you to go fishing and you never go fishing with him, but you always want him to go pick out flowers with you, like, that's not cool. Like, that is not, like, I don't even want to call it compromise, but you have to put energy into your people and the things that they like. Because it's not about liking that thing. It's about liking and loving that person. And so that was another issue that Molly had. She wanted to do what she wanted to do. And she didn't want to do what Andrew wanted to do. And then lastly, with Molly and Andrew, of course, was like when they went on that vacation with his brother, and that whole thing happened. And, she had every right to be upset, every right. But it's kind of like after that had passed and they were back in the States and his brother was in town and they had tickets to like a game or something like that. And she was like, I don't want to go. Like, I can already see that it was going to be a problem because at some point you have to, like, I don't want to say get over it, but you have to figure it out so that you can be around your significant other's family, because that's not gonna go over well. You don't ever want to go around my family no more. Like, that's not gonna work.
Right. Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
Definitely, we know it's not gonna be long term.
So when it came to a point where Molly was like, "We can fix this," Andrew was like, "I think I'm good.
Probably not.
I think I'm straight." So I can understand that for sure. And then you have Issa, Condola, and Lawrence. And Condola's a nice lady, but I've always been team Issa and Lawrence, and so it just has never been, it ain't never gone well for me with her. But you can just kind of see how, I don't want to say Lawrence stuck out at Thanksgiving, but my first red flag would have been when she didn't invite me. Because I'm not going to invite myself to something you didn't invite me to. So she didn't invite him to Thanksgiving. She was like, she was having a Friendsgiving or something like that. And he was like, oh, I'll come. That's something that people invite you to. And so, like, clearly she did not plan for him to be there in that capacity. So, just being there and watching Robin Thede get drunk and say, "You're what Condola needed," pretty much like a boy toy. And
but then too, I think when people date when they're older, I think you have to be careful dating when you get older, because you have so many things that you can compare what you do want and what you don't want. But you can't make a perfect person. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like kind of with Issa in the first season. she wants Lawrence to do more. She get with what's his name?
Daniel.
Daniel. So she like, oh, he doing this and he doing that. But when you start to be around him more, when he's trying to look out for you, even as a friend, you just like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even really fuck with you as a friend. So what was I gonna do if we tried to make it a relationship? And then I think as women, when we go into stuff, sometimes we think about what we want, but we also think about how it's gonna look to the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
I think men are more comfortable just being themselves, and either you fuck with it or you don't.
Not all men.
As,
I not
no,
all
I
men.
don't feel like all of them, but I feel like as a whole, because just as you say, we have the thing in our mind that men cheat, so we're just like, do I want to give this one a chance? Is he gonna do right? Is he gonna do this? And Condola she probably didn't want to bring him around her friends because she don't know exactly where it's going yet.
True.
But also when you do that to him, you're scaling it back. You're not even giving him
A chance.
a genuine chance. Now he has to force himself. But also he's trying to show you that he's interested in you if he's making that effort to say, oh, I want to come. Mm-hmm. He don't want to make it seem like, oh, well, whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of you damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, because you do want to be careful if you don't know where something is going. You don't want to expose your friends because then they're going to be asking. Because if it don't work out, they're going to be asking, where's Lawrence? How you and Lawrence doing? Whatever the case may be. And I think that at this point, Lawrence was at a place where he was ready to be serious with somebody, but the brakes were pumped when they had a very, very serious come to Jesus moment when they were in the kitchen and he was like, so I'm just your boy toy. And she was like, don't act like you wouldn't be with Issa, if she hadn't cheated. And that was like a real statement. And she asked him, so if she would not have cheated, would y'all still be together? And the answer would be yes.
And I don't know why we as women do that. Like, I'm one of them people. Like, I ask all the questions. I know damn well I don't want to answer to, but I want you to answer. Like, I don't know why I'm like, I don't want you to tell me.
We all.
I want you to fucking tell me.
Yeah.
Like,
we all like that.
And
nobody wants to live in the dark.
For real, the number one person I don't want to look stupid to is myself.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck everybody else. But if I'm in some shit and I'm way more in it than you, motherfucker, tell me so I get the fuck on. Because what is you doing? Mm-hmm. What you doing? Mm-hmm. Now I gotta hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is and it's jokey, but that shit can be dangerous when you play with people's emotions.
Oh, it is. Not can. It is dangerous.
You do so many things off emotions, off adrenaline. Like, if everybody sat their ass down and thought about shit before they did it, this would be a fucking way better world than what it is. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, like, Condola probably been thought about asking him that shit.
Oh, yeah.
That shit probably been on, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But she was sitting there, she was thinking about it like, nah, I ain't gonna say that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But also, she's asking this question because she knows Issa now, and she's probably like, son, a nice lady. Like, she probably, you know what I'm saying? She now sees why y'all were together so long, and so now she's probably like, they more compatible than me and him. And then you know how bitches we think, like, so it's just it makes you hold back from if she wouldn't even did that, she never knows where it could have.
And you know what? The insecurity happened for Condola when I love Issa, like I really do. And it makes me so happy and delightful. I don't even know where I came up with that word from. Like, people be like, you know what? You remind me of her. Like, how I act and just my mannerisms with some things. I'm like, oh, thanks. Awkward. But the insecurity came for Condola when she walked into that restaurant. And remember, Issa was in there working on some stuff, and Lawrence had come in. And her and Lawrence were laughing about something. And Condola walked up and was like, hey. Like, when you see that and you see that energy, like, that's just what it was. And even though, you know, Issa, as crazy as she was, she's like, oh, yeah, I got my food to go. And they're like, Issa, for here. And she ran out the door, you know, because it was just awkward. But for Condola, I'm sure that was like a moment of like, you know, like they still share something. And it's something that we don't have. And so, like, that bond isn't always gone, even after the fact. Yeah, like it's not, it's still there. So, so moving forward, I think a lot of people have that sometimes. Like, I have guys that I have talked to in the past, and we're really cool. Like, and sometimes you look back and you think like, oh, maybe if I would have talked to this person later in life, it could have went. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I feel like that was something that was Lawrence and Issa's issue as well. Because I feel like even in that same moment of them laughing about something, they probably just like, I feel like it probably popped in their head like we could have figured that shit out. Yes, they could have. And I think that they were good for each other even at that time. It's just that their relationship became kind of stagnant, you know, and it wasn't going anywhere because they were post-college. I mean, they were, you know, it's not like they was 18 or whatever, even though that may be where they had started, but they were post-college. And so it just was apparent that they didn't want to break up. You know, anytime people break up due to cheating, you know, sometimes the cheating was because they were done and they just didn't communicate that they were done and they have no desires to go back. Other times it's because maybe somebody wasn't giving you what you needed and you stepped out. And so those feelings are still there. You know, you're sorry, I didn't mean to do it, whatever the case may be. We had a terrible breakup. But when you really love somebody, it can like still be there, and for them it was. So which moves me to Lawrence and Issa meeting and having their conversation that was so adult. And I love when Lawrence was like, hey, we know each other, so none of that walking on eggshells, like none of that, like just be transparent. And just the conversation that they had that night where, you know, Issa was just pretty much like, I felt like you were unhappy and I didn't know how to make you happy. Like, I didn't know how to. And when Lawrence was just like, when he accepted his role and when I can't remember what he said, but he said something that stood out to me. And it's something that reminded me of somebody that I used to date and something they would have said. And it always stuck with me, but I can't remember what it was. But he just pretty much like took responsibility as well. And they had a conversation about just, it was kind of like closure for that, like having that adult conversation. And they started, you know, after that, they started spending time together and hanging out, which was great. Like, I was like, I knew it was going to come back around. I knew it. Mm-hmm. But then that damn Condola. And it ain't her fault because they both did it, you know. Mm-hmm. They both did it, but Oh my gosh, that hurt my spirit. That hurt all our spirits. You hear me?
I think that's something I was like, oh, fuck.
That hurt our
That was
spirit,
rough.
honey. Baby. That hurt our spirits. Like
Yeah,
seriously.
I ain't, Lord.
That thing still just does something to me when I think about it.
Yeah, that was very tough because it was just like we all were like happy, like, oh, look at them. Da-da-da-da.
But that's life though. When you feel like smooth sailing, it be like wrong.
Mm-hmm. You thought wrong.
You thought wrong.
You thought you had it figured out.
Man.
I got so for that ass.
Ooh, what? And everybody was just like, and I remember people on Twitter being like, do not make this no Melanie and Durbin again. We cannot take that no more. I'm like, I cannot take that no more. I can't take that. Ooh, child. No air. Listen.
Look. Oh my God.
What?
That's it. I be feeling like that happened for real in real life.
Listen, when she be like, she get up, she ain't tripping no more. And she be like, oh my baby, I'm so sorry. And he was like, Melanie. And then here come Janae. By the way, I love Gabrielle Dennis now. In the game, not so much, but now, like, you ever watch Black Lady Sketch Show on HBO? Oh, you gotta watch it. Like, the first 2 episodes, I was like, but girl, after that, girl, I be dying laughing. Black Lady Courtroom. And Issa's in that too. Girl, you gotta watch it.
Okay, I need to watch that.
But
yeah, the babies
listen.
Is a thing. Hell, that happened to me. The guy I was talking to in college.
Who it didn't happen to? It happened to me in college too.
But then the kicker is with me, my stupid ass wanted to keep talking to her. That motherfucker came back with a second time. Now after that, bitch, I'm gone.
Nah, I tried to make it work. I don't know, cause we was young and dumb. I tried to make it work, and honestly, when you think about it, like when I think about it now, I be like, I just laugh now. But I don't laugh at the situation. I just laugh at like where I thought I was. You know what I'm saying? Like you be like, oh, like, girl. But I mean, that's just where you are.
Everybody goes through that.
Right. That's just where you are at that point. Like that was the 19-year-old me. And so then you fast forward it to the 37-year-old you, and you like, no, like not know that you wouldn't have stuck around, but it's like you look at a relationship and it's like I was a kid. We was kids. Pretty much. Like different people. And so you were just having fun. That's it. Having fun. Issa and Lawrence, Issa, she has something to think about as to whether she is going to play stepmom. And I'm just hoping that she ain't pregnant. It's a false pregnancy, or she was sleeping around with somebody else. But we'll get into that shortly here. But the last thing for me, besides, must mention this. Oh my God, so many things to mention from the season. Actually, Tiffany, she has her postpartum depression, something that is very real for a lot of people, something that should not be joked about, none of that. And I've never been a mother, so I don't know how that feels. But for the show to touch on that and to be delicate in the situation, that was a lot, because again, that's something that a lot of women
and then it's something that you can't control, and just to be in it, and especially it happens to most women when they have their first child. Like when you become a mother, you just feel so strong. Like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta take care of that person. But something hormonal happens to you that you can't, and you feel like sometimes people ask me, do I think I had any? I'm like, I don't know. I said I already don't do very well with emotions, so I say even if I was, I probably was just like, I'm mad about something because I'm just evil as fuck. But I don't goddamn know. But it's hard when you can't control what you got going on, like at all. And just once you have a child, you just become such a different person. And I think sometimes that's why some relationships don't work because they're just like, you're not the same woman you were. Bitch, I'm not.
Mm.
I'm a mother. Like I got somebody that I wake up and think about before I even be remembering that your ass exists. Like, give me a moment. But it just goes to show that's why you know how some and it is some dads that have to be full-time dads, but it's mostly moms. And like sometimes they're like, how come Mother's Day is celebrated so much? Like mothers go through so much.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times no matter how you feeling, you still have to do it. Mm-hmm. A lot of women have postpartum and still have to go to work. Mm-hmm. Still have to do their day to day. So they have to struggle with that. So it's definitely a good touchy subject because it's not always such a happy event when women have babies. So yeah, I think that was good that they touched on that.
Yeah, and just the feeling maybe of inadequacy that you can't do it all and feeling bad because you can't do it all and you just can't. So another thing that I'm glad that the show touched on was bipolar depression. Nathan, he opens up to Issa about why he left. And, a lot of people suffer from bipolar depression. And it's not one of those things that you just want to tell somebody like, hey, I'm bipolar, because people have knee-jerk reactions to things that they don't know a lot about, things that they are uncomfortable with, things that they've heard things about, but they haven't done the research themselves to actually know about it. So for him to say that he had bipolar depression and for her to be understanding of that and to accept him for that was big. And so, again, it's hard for people to open up, and especially men, when men are supposed to be, they are, viewed as being so strong and all these other things. And so that may felt like a weakness to him because he couldn't control his emotions. So I'm happy that they touched on that. Trying to think of any other character thing, but the last thing is Issa and Molly and the big blow up that they had. And so Issa had the block party. Issa wanted to have an artist there. Molly's boyfriend at the time, Andrew, he worked for Live Nation, and Issa's artist dropped out. She asked Molly, like, hey, can you ask Andrew to hook this up for me? Molly was like, I just kind of want to keep the two separate, Issa talks to Nathan. Nathan hooks that up for her at the end of the block party. It comes to light to Molly that Issa did reach out to Nathan, who reached out to Andrew to help get her an artist. Molly gets upset and they go at it, best friends, and they go at it. And I always say the people closest to you, like who know who you are and the things you've been through and the things you go through, those are the people who can hurt you the most because they can just throw it right back at you. And that's what they both did. Issa touched on the fact that, you know, Molly can't keep a man, and she's always the reason that they break, you know, she loses men, and, you know, she's always just doing this and the other. And Molly calls Issa pretty much like she always needs somebody, like pretty much like she's a leech. Like you always need somebody to help you out of something. And so they both hurt each other. But honestly, it's like I get Molly saying like I wanted to keep this separate, but at the same time, like this super big event that I'm having, and at the last minute, like my artist drops out and I have nobody, and you have somebody like in your pocket that can like easily help me out of this situation. Like, no.
Definitely, in that instance, I disagree with Molly 100%.
100%.
Because it's like, what are you trying to keep separate? Your friendship and your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody having a party and we all there, now we there together. And nobody can do it all on their own.
Right.
And for you to be her best friend, if anybody could help her, you should be the number one that would want to help her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so it was giving me like you felt like your relationship was more important than your friendship, which the two shouldn't even compare. And then you really was deciding for what's his name, Andrew? You really was making a decision for him. He could have said no if he wanted to, and then y'all probably just would have moved on.
Right. Exactly.
But you didn't even give him that chance. And then not only that, Issa respected your wishes and did it on her own.
Yeah. So it's like, why was you mad?
To involve you, because she could have not said nothing to you to begin with. So yes, in that instance, I really hated that she did that. Like, I was just like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. I feel like that was, you know, some BS. And so sometimes you go through things with your friends. Like, you and I, we're best friends. We've gotten into an argument before, you know, but it's like seeing who we are and where we are, and not even like being humble, but just like our friendship is more important than anything that we can argue about. Like, that's just how I feel. So, you know, that was a big blow up for them. And they started keeping stuff from each other a few episodes before that, you know, like Molly kept from her that she was talking to Andrew again, you know, Issa kind of kept stuff about Lawrence or whatever. But yeah, so
they both was trying not to get judged by.
Yes, you are exactly right. They both were, they were trying not to get judged by one another. But it's hard when you're friends with somebody and you're trying to like, you're not who you normally are. Because remember, even they sat down at a diner, they tried to like eat together, and it just, you know, one wasn't budging, you know. But when the whole Lawrence thing happened, like, yo, it's like nothing else matters. I need my friend. And so that last episode, Molly and Issa sat down at the restaurant and they gave each other their shit, you know.
And then with friendships, I think people feel like you're not supposed to argue with your friends, but it's like an argument ain't never but a disagreement. Like, why we gotta?
Right.
We not the same person.
Right.
We're not gonna agree.
Right.
On everything, and then sometimes it's like I was just thinking the other day, like when you have so many sets of friends, like you have your friends that me and this friend can talk about this friend, then talk about this friend, I talk about this friend. Like, it's not malicious.
Right.
But it's just like, girl, I just think she should da 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 da. But in friendship, it's just you try not to hurt the other person's
Yeah.
feelings, so then you don't say shit.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to argue.
But I think at the same time, too, like, what's important, because, like, I can talk about, let's just say an example. Like, I can talk about it, a situation that's going on with you with, like, another friend, right? But it's not nothing that I wouldn't be able to say to you. See, right. That's where people, you know, start to get foul. Like, if I'm saying something to another friend about a friend in their situation, I can say this to that friend. But I'm not being like, she's stupid and she this and she that and she, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
well, my friend would feel like she feel away. So now we're just in season 5, and season 5 is just unfolding, and pretty much the only thing that sticks out to me really in season, well, one, Issa and Lawrence have gone their separate ways, which I'm just hoping they come back around. I don't know. I want it to be a thing.
They separate ways without even barely saying anything.
Nothing at all. But Issa has started a new, you know, project, and she's being awkward and insecure and like, yo, I don't know where this is going, but I just know I'm going somewhere. And sometimes that's what it takes. Like, I just got to keep going. And then you have Lawrence, who is trying to be a dad, and he is just running into an issue. And boy, I was glad to see Keke Palmer up in that thing. She's so crazy. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he's just really having an issue, and he's trying to, like, be present. He's trying to be present, but Condola's like, I don't really want you to be present like that. It's pretty much like, I just wanted a baby, to be honest, and I don't really need you to be here. And yeah, we're going to talk about you, and we're going to talk about you not being here, even though you want to be here, but I don't need that. And so
I definitely, I see both sides.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of people, like, I think it's easy for me to see both sides because I do have a child. Mm-hmm. I've seen close friends go back and forth. Like, I have yet to be, like, in a situation to where we have to, like, meet up and get him and do all that. But it's like, I see why she feels the way she feels towards him, because it's like, when I was going through this, when I was taking care of him in my stomach, like, a lot of men don't realize how much support they need when the baby inside of them. Mm-hmm. Like,
oh yeah, because she did say, like, what happened to just keep me posted or something like that, and I was like, Lawrence.
And so he's being naive to, he probably don't know that she wants him there. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she should have at least, if she wanted him to be coming to the doctor's appointment, she should have let that be known. Like, I know we're not together, but if you're going to be present in his life, I think you should do X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. So if he's not there the whole pregnancy, like, when she said, I don't trust you, like, I felt that, because it's like, this my most precious shit in the world, and I barely even be talking to you, and you want me to give my precious thing to you. You know it's yours too. But it's like, you know, when you the mom, you carry it, you have that bond even before you see their face, meet them. And it's like, now you want to come around with all the hard work is done and reap the benefits. But also, it's probably hard for him because he's like, I'm trying to be there and you giving me all this. And you never know, she looks like she has some postpartum as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, having to do it on when I had Dallas, I wasn't on my own, but his dad is very lax, mm-hmm. very chill. So I would have to say, hey, get him. But he also was right there. He wasn't trying to start a baby's life in a 2-parent household.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. So that's a very good, thank you for that explanation. Like, yep. because I ain't got no kids over here. But you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. So,
but you watching it, how did you feel about their back and forth?
Me watching it, I felt like damn, he's trying. Like, that's how I felt. I felt like, damn, he's trying. But then when she said, like, what happened to keep me posted? And I was like, because she can have resentment. Like, so Lawrence, you weren't there the entire time. And then now you want to show up and be here. So that's how I felt. And, you know, but we'll see. You know, we'll see how it progresses. And since you didn't watch last night's episode, we won't touch on that. It wasn't a whole lot. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was something that we definitely can touch on at some point. But I enjoy having this conversation about the show Insecure. It is one of my most favorite shows. I love watching it. I love the storylines. And again, I just love how relatable it is. So who knows? I mean, she's doing really, really good things, and so glad to see her on the scene. And I pretty much love her in anything. Like, I love the movie Lovebirds. Like, child, so funny. But before we get out of here today, you know, I always like to ask for a tip that you want to leave with the people. So, what tip do you want to leave with the people? And you know, it can be about anything.
My tip would be, don't overthink it. I think we just overthink everything. And of course, it's something that's very much so easier said than done. Mm-hmm. But sometimes just the overthinking alone stops you from doing stuff.
Yes.
Which I feel like I do that. So that would be, that's what I'm trying to work on right now.
Not overthinking. I like that. Yeah. Oh, girl, I am an overthinker. You hear me? This tank be thinking.
You worse than me.
You can think yourself into a bad day, girl. I can think all the scenarios in my head. My tip would be, give yourself grace. Like, we do things and sometimes we cause train wrecks, and sometimes we are the reason that things don't work out the way that we wanted them to, but it's life, you know, and you live and you learn, and you can't beat yourself up about something that has already happened. The only thing you can do is grow and do better, and give yourself grace. Don't continue to beat yourself up about it. Let it go. Let it go, honey. All right. Well, that is all that we have for you guys today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share this podcast. And until next time, best friend, it is always a good time to be on the show with you, to have you. I'm looking for some bitches I can hang with. Get drunk and get faded, ride around and holler gang shit. Tell me, is it you? Bitch, I'm ready to like a fool. All right, we're going to get out of here. Until next time, much peace, love, and chaos. Peace out.